Welcome back, guys. We're now overviewing the first Armoured Division of the United Kingdom in WARNO, part of the NATO alliance. So, first vehicle we got here is the Bedford MJ supply. It's quite high in regards to the amount of supply that's in the back of the vehicle. Considering what it is in scale of real-life vehicles, it is quite a large truck, to be fair. But it's not too big compared to some of the other ones, but they've scaled up the supply. It is quite a big truck, to be fair. Fair one. Next, we've got the Chinook HC1 supply as well, with 2,500, which is nice to see. We have that option, as well as you have this in the American divisions. We also have a similar aircraft in the German, and a similar aircraft in the Soviet decks as well, which is nice to see. We have, for the command vehicles, we have an FV432 Command, an FV105 Sultan, and then we've got the Rover command vehicle. Really nice skins in these, I love that. Pretty cool looking. Pretty good speed in this bad boy here, the Rover. But nice. Got a few options here. Only frustrating, none of them have weapon systems. It's a bit shit for an armed division. But hopefully in the infantry version, we may have something with some sort of machine gun or some sort of GPMG on top, but we'll soon find out. Right, next, for our infantry units, we have, first and foremost, is the Royal Military Police. Just three of these blokes here. Kit out of medium machine gun, L1A1 SLR, self-loading rifle. Really cheap unit there. These guys are probably used just literally dotted around the map, bolstering units, defences, just to fill gaps. So not a bad unit to be utilised for that price. So yeah, moving on. We've got the gun group, which has the L7A2, two of those bad boys. Pretty good for, once again, bolstering defence positions and holding off positions against infantry primarily. And you can equip it with the FV510 Warrior, armoured fighting vehicle, or infantry fighting vehicle, should I say, sorry. Which is a nice weapon system in itself. The L12 1A1 Recon autocannon. So really good infantry fighter vehicle. I'd probably say this one probably in the top 4 infantry fighter vehicles in the game. So yeah, we'll probably see some more in the rifles leaders. Here we go, some more here. So first we have the rifles leaders group, equipped with the L7A2 and an M72 Law. Not a bad unit, a good all-rounder, 6-man strength. We've seen better command units, but this isn't bad for the weapon system they have, so they can defend themselves. Next are the ARM rifles, be able to equip with the FV510 Warrior Milan, which is a really good infantry fighting vehicle with Milan and the Raiden autocannon and a medium machine gun. Let's have a look at infantry themselves. 7-man squad or section with light support weapon and an anti-tank rocket launcher, M72 Law. It's a good all-rounder, not the best infantry, as you can see they're quite poor. It's quite frustrating the price though, you're looking at for a poor unit. Moving on, we then have the rifles unit. We'll get to the Law 80, a bit better penetration, good stats for the Law 80 actually. It's a pretty good weapon system, but unfortunately you get a downgrade on the vehicles you can select for it, which is a bit frustrating there. But nonetheless, not a bad unit that can be utilised, kind of your standard-ish infantry. Next is the Milan 1 and Milan 2. We've seen these before in the German divisions, this weapon system. Obviously the Milan's much better, Milan 2. And you can actually equip with the FV120 Spartan MCT, which also has a Milan as well, so that's not even a bad unit. 115 points, and you're getting bang for the buck, you're getting 2, because sometimes you get dropped off in just soft skin vehicles. So that's actually pretty good to get that option as well, so you can actually have 2, double number of anti-tank support you have there. It's nice, love to see it. Next are the Assault Pioneers, 110 points for just an L2A3. I think that's a pretty overkill price for just a unit with an L2A3 submachine gun. But they can obviously defend themselves. There's 6 of them, so it's not the worst unit, but it's not the greatest either, to be honest, quite frankly. As you see, all these units are all bad except for the Milans. Next are the Assault Pioneers with the LSW and Satchel Charge, 8-man squad there. And then the Assault Pioneers with the Carl Gustaf M2 anti-tank weapon system. It's interesting, there's no real unit there of any sort of flame or anything like that, really. But it kind of makes sense. I don't think we ever utilised them, really, the British military. But cool, some units that can be utilised. It's quite expensive as well. Some of these units are expensive for what they are, which is a bit frustrating. Prices are quite heavy. Kind of. Right, cool. We're not here about infantry tab. We're here for the armoured, mate. This is what this deck's all about. So first and foremost, in the artillery tab, we have the L16 81mm mortar. Not the worst range, 4,900, but it's not the best considering other ranges have got about 6,700. So this is quite a short range mortar compared to the other ones, but it is 81mm, which kind of makes sense. Then we have the same again, but on the FV432 chassis. So just got the 81mm mortar in the back there. I like to go for these a lot better. Not a bad price as well. For the accuracy and everything you got there, it's pretty good. And high explosive rate and suppression rate. Next is the FV433 Abbott. Nice little self-propelled artillery piece this. 17,000 range. It's not the best. We've seen other ones with like 24,000 range. But the reload time actually that proves ain't the greatest either. It's one that's quite standard across the board. But it's quite quick. Supply cost is low as well, which is a good thing for this vehicle. Next is the M109A2. You can see a really beastly artillery piece, self-propelled artillery piece this is. With the M185 howitzer gun, 155mm. Got a lot better range this one. High suppression rate. Both quite high there. High explosive and suppression, sorry. And shooting outputs are quite standard as well. But nice you have that option to have that really good artillery piece to be utilised in battlefield. Right, next going to one of the most important tabs in this division is the tank tab. So first and foremost with the main battle tank, the Centurion Mark V Avery. So ground targets, this is pretty much going to be utilised primarily for infantry support, I'd say more than anything. It's not bad that you have this option, which is good. Quite expensive though for what it is once again, but the armour is pretty good in this thing. I'll give that. It does have pretty strong front armour, so it's going to be pretty good against infantry. Swing fire, the anti-tank weapon system. Penetration 23 and a range of 2625, which is pretty good. Quite a high price again. Let's move on to the next one. Let's compare these both actually. So we've got the striker and the swing fire. So actually the striker is less, it's 15 points less than the swing fire. I'm looking at the stats, I'm not seeing much difference other than the shooting attributes. And you get 6 more rounds in the swing fire, but yet the striker can fire a lot quicker. You can have the rate of fire 33 instead of 20, which is interesting. But the salvo length is shorter on the swing fire. That's probably why. Which kind of makes some sense, to be honest. But okay, cool. Quite expensive units. The swing fire is pretty good. They're both as good as each other. It's just one has more ammunition than the other, to be honest, quite frankly. Moving on to the Chieftain Mark II or Mark 11 Command. Nice weapon system, good front armor here as well. Not the best tank I've seen in the game, but it's definitely up there. Straight away penetration 19, so it's got a pretty good gun there, quite frankly. Then we have the Chieftain Mark 9, which is a little bit less in regards to points. Let's have a look, let's just compare it side by side. We'll actually look at the Chieftain Mark 11 first. Chieftain Mark 11 is the same as the Chieftain Mark 11 Command. Let's just compare it to the Mark 9. So you're getting 20 points less for what? You get an extra range on the Mark 11 compared to the Mark 9. Everything else seems pretty much the same in regards to stats. You're just getting an extra 175 meter range, which does make a big difference in the battlefield. But everything else is the same. Next, we have the Challenger Mark II. Let's look at the command version first. Let's see, the front armor is 20. One of the best tanks in the game. Penetration is quite low for 19, because I think some of them you can get 20 in some of the other divisions. But it's still not bad. Really good weapon system, as you can see. The stats there, phenomenal. Good actually. Let's have a look in comparison to the actual highest rank we can get in the Challenger Mark II. 81 spent static, 68% actually in motion. When you're not in motion, sorry. Well, you are in motion. Let's get it right. But good weapon systems. Really good tanks here for the tank division. I thought it'd be more selection of vehicles. But for what it is, it's pretty good. This Challenger Mark II is definitely going to be up there in regards to standing toe-to-toe with the best tanks in the game, especially its frontal armor. I think we've only seen one tank with 21 front armor. I think that's one of the Soviet Division decks. I'm not sure whether there's a T-80 or some sort, potentially. Alright, so some really good interesting armor there to be used on the battlefield. Next, with the Recon. There's quite a large selection of Recon, actually, in this division. So first and foremost, we've got the the Ferret Mark II. Just an L37A2 machine gun. It's got good optics, good stealth. It could be used nice and cheap. Get around the battlefield, pretty cool. The FV721 Fox with the Radin autocannon. It's pretty cool as well. 35 points. I guess this weapon system can be pretty good. This vehicle, ability to go around, knock out soft skin vehicles and infantry as well. So it's pretty cool, I suppose, to a certain extent. It's got good range. Could be a little good all-round tank. Good thing to potentially look to use. Next is the FV101 Scorpion, and then the Scimitar. Really cool weapon system vehicles these are. One of which could be good against tanks, which is this one here. It's got 10 penetration rate. It's got a better gun. L23A1, and then you've got one on the right as an autocannon, which is good against infantry and soft skin vehicles, as it's got a higher rate of fire, but lower caliber round. Both really good vehicles, good optics, they're quick, small. It just could be used for multiple things on the battlefield. Next are the Scouts, which have an LSW and the M72 Law. Not the best weapon systems, but not a bad recon unit. Exceptional stealth, very good unit. Or optics, sorry. So, for the price you're asking for, 50 points there, still quite steep, I think, for the stats we're getting, a 4-man. But I guess these guys can be used at sitting, waiting for, and ambushing units. And then they come with potentially the FV103 Spartan and a Lynx on a Rover. But the Spartan is a recon vehicle as well, so you get 2 for the price of 1, which is nice. Well, not for the price of 1, but you can equip it with the recon vehicle as well. Alright, next we have the Scouts with the Law 80. A much better weapon system there to take out vehicles. Still quite steep on price, I think, personally, but they've got exceptional stealth and very good optics. Another good unit there. Small team, though, which is a bit frustrating. But still, good unit, I'd say. Could be utilised in the battlefield, given those options. Then we have Green Archer, which has exceptional optics. That's pretty cool. With the L372. We've seen this before in I think, the previous division. The German Territorial Command stud, I think we've seen this, was equipped in there as well, which is pretty cool that we can have this. But nice vehicle, really good stats there, and it actually has a machine gun so it can defend itself. So I think that'd be a really good unit to potentially put on the ground, but make sure you put them in safe positions. Next to the Gazelle, Recon helicopter. Got to have some sort of airborne recon, which always helps in every scenario. Then last and foremost, we have the Sas Patrol. Recon unit with very good optics, exceptional stealth. They come with the MP5 SD submachine gun, so pretty good at engaging infantry, good at taking out. These are pretty much just saboteurs, well and truly. They come with the M72 Law and a satchel charge. So these guys are going to be absolute beasts at taking out small units around the rear, command units potentially, command vehicles. These guys are going to be absolutely phenomenal at that. So highly recommend using these. He's probably one of the best saboteurs in the game, which makes sense because the other special air service. Moving on to the next tab, we have the AA tab, which is quite small actually. We have the Javelin air defense unit, which is just the surface-to-air missile, with 6 rockets there. Exceptional stealth once again. Then we have the Javelin LML. Let's just compare these side by side real quick. So the difference is here is 5% accuracy, and you carry 3 more rounds. They don't have an assault rifle. Which I guess, in the grand scheme of things, that kind of makes sense. The supply is a lot lower. As you can see, 36 supply. So if you just want a unit where you just want to prioritise the air defence, that makes sense usually. Because primarily, I don't really like to use my AA as an attack. I like to keep them well out of the way of any sort of scenario. And if I see enemies pushing or flanking me, I pull them out. But then again, it's always useful to have a weapon system, a rifle. Because those extra rounds could make a big difference. Just slotting off one final man who's pushing through. So I like it, but I don't like it. But I guess it can be used. Then last with the tracked Rapier, which is a helicopter range up to 3,000, an aircraft 2825. 8 infrared Rapier with missiles, so nice. Cool looking model as well. Another good vehicle that. 120 points, so it's quite expensive, but it's not radar guided, so it's actually got fantastic stats there actually for what it is. So yeah, but it's a poor unit. I just like the helicopter. It's quite heavy price actually. Now I'm thinking about looking at it because in comparison to other AA platforms in the game. But it is what it is. You have that option there. There's not many options here for AA to be honest, quite frankly, first division, which sucks. Next are the Gazelle AH1 rockets. 20 points. That's pretty good actually. That's pretty cheap for what it is. 12 rockets there could be utilised, fly around the battlefield, take out infantry. Then the Lynx AH1 with the Hell Arm, with the tow launcher, and then another one through the tow 2. See these side by side real quick. We see the difference. Penetration 4, much better accuracy on the tow 2, or ITOW, shall we say? Nice. Love you. You pretty much have every option in the game in this division as well, which is pretty cool. Lastly, we've got the air tab, and here we have the Harrier Gr1a. It's pretty cool looking, I must admit. Only thing is, oh, they're here. The wheels. I was wondering where the wheel's not down. That's like balancing. Surely that can't be right. It needs to have the wheels down whilst it's on the ground. But you've got a cluster version of this aircraft. It also comes with air-to-air missiles, which is good. 150 point vehicle, or aircraft, sorry. Not the biggest payload, but it can be pretty good. It's got not bad accuracy either. You can probably bump that up to 60%. There we go. Next are the high explosive 2. 4 times 500 kg bombs, which is not a bad payload actually. There's some chunky boys there. Not a bad aircraft whatsoever, to be honest. Next are the Jaguar Gr1a, which has Hydras on it. Nice looking aircraft, good capability, 195 points. Can also defend itself with a Gatling gun and air-to-air missile. We have the high explosive version. Once again, it has the same type of bombs, but its aircraft is a little bit faster than a Jaguar, as you can see. The speed is Mach 1, so a lot better. It's got the same accuracy stats with the actual explosives themselves, but you're looking at the extra speed. Could make a big difference to get us out on the battlefield and neutralising targets. Next is the Tornado F3 AA, probably one of the best air-to-air fighters in the game, or in there up top, with some of the Soviet versions and the F-15. I think it sits kind of low in that bracket, that frame. I'll probably put this maybe at the top 5, top 6, top air-spirited fighters in the game. But it's got some really good stats here. The air-to-air missiles, the AIM-9s are good. Aircraft exceptional, 30% ECM, very good agility. It's definitely a contender on the battlefield. Next is the Tornado Gr1, the seed version. Good stats here. We've seen this across the board. A lot better ECM as well. Electrical countermeasures, which is good, which you're going to need because these guys are going to be your guys going out to try and take out AA, so you need that ECM. Next is the Tornado Gr1 with the high explosive. This has 6 times those bombs this time, so a much higher payload. And then last with the cluster, which has 8 times cluster bombs as well, which is really good at taking out. So these two are going to be your top bad boys at taking out ground vehicles. Quite frankly, if you want something that's got best support units, aircraft, go for these 2 tornadoes. So yeah, some really good units. Let's go to this tank Challenger 2. There we go. So that is the first Armoured Division. The thing I'd say about this unit, it's quite expensive, some units, for what it is. But I really look forward to trying to use these units on the battlefield and see how they compare against other units and how well they do. But yeah, some really cool, interesting, unique vehicles in this. So next one we're going to go over the Infantry Division of the UK. And then I think we're almost there. I think we've got like 4 more divisions left to look at. But yeah. Alright, hope you enjoyed and I'll see you next one.